Today we are in Ironton, Ohio, just on the northern shores of the Ohio River at Woodland Cemetery. Now, some of you may remember I actually did a video from this place before, and I entitled it Cemetery Legends and Lore, something like that. And the reason I did that is there simply is a lot of legend, a lot of lore from this cemetery. So there's one that kind of transcends all the other stories, and that is the story of Ms. Osa Wilson. And we're going to actually go take a look at her grave and take a look at her monument. And there is lore and legend that the monument itself is haunted. So we're going to take a look at that. And while I am on the way to the monument, I'm going to tell you the story of Osa Wilson and what brings us here to Woodland Cemetery in Ironton, Ohio today. And I hope you all can hear me okay. We are actually just right next to US 52 that runs through Ohio, and there's a lot of traffic that's generated on that road, and I'm sure you can hear some of that in the background. Osa Wilson, that is the grave we're going to visit today, and she does carry a lot of history in this cemetery and in this town. I mean, if you just Google Osa Wilson, you can find some information on her, and we're on our way to her grave. And the story goes that Osa Wilson actually was pregnant with her, I think it was her 7th child, and her and the husband got in an argument. And the story is he smacked her on the side of the face, knocked her down the steps, and she lingered for about a month before she passed away, which is a very sad story in and of itself. But her stone has a statue with it, and the statue is on top of her, well, kind of built into her gravestone. The story goes, and we're going to take a look at it. I'm going to get up close. There's a couple of legends that goes along with this. One is that on the side of her face where she was struck, and you can see this all over her face, all over the statue, you'll see signs of aging, patina, all that. But on the side that she was struck, it is said that nothing ever grows there. It never shows any signs of age. It remains clear. It's also said she was pregnant with her 7th child at the time. I believe it was 7th, but she was pregnant at the time. And even on the coldest days, if you touch her stomach, it will not be cold on the statue. It will still be warm. And you can see right there, that is the gravesite of Osa Wilson. And there has been speculation as to how true this story is, how true it's not. I do know that if you read her, I believe it's her death certificate, that it's pretty non-specific. So I'm sure that contributes to the story that goes along with it. But you can see right here, in memory of my beloved Osa Wilson. That's April 18th, 1877 through February 25th, 1911. So there's the monument, there's the statue. You can see this is still visited. I mean, she's been dead over 100 years. There's fresh, well, not fresh, but you know what I'm saying, they're not that old, artificial flowers. Let's take a look at this face right here. You can see on this side of things, you can see age, but right there on that right side of her cheek, look how smooth that is. I don't know so much that the story is about her haunting the area, as it is really more about the monument and the statue here. So I would love to know what you all think. Do you see that on the right side of her face there? Have you ever heard of this story? Have you ever heard of Osa Wilson? Have you ever heard of the legend? And are you seeing what I'm seeing there? It looks, I mean, it looks very smooth on that right side. So the story goes. Which, I mean, we talk about it in the terms of legend and lore now, but that's a just a terribly tragic, if it's true, terribly tragic story. She wasn't very old. Early 30s, it looks like. Let's see if there's anything on the back of this stone. I don't know if there is or not. No, but you can see how weathered it is on the back. That definitely catches most of the weather there, it looks like. The grave of Osa Wilson in Ironton, Ohio. You can see here, this is a, well, you can't see as well as if you drove around. This is a pretty good sized cemetery. And I've seen a lot of people come in today as I've been here. I'm sure it's holidays, people coming to put decorations and flowers and such on the graves of their family members. This is definitely still an active cemetery. Now, we're in the older part, but there are newer areas here in the cemetery, and I love just going for little walks like this and throwing some good history in there when I can. You can see we got some veterans buried across there. I'm going to show you another look there in the distance. If you can see those red flowers in the screen, that's Osa's grave that we were just at. Over the hill and behind those trees there is the Ohio River. You can see here, it's just a very serene. It's pretty here. There's a lot of history. I would actually like to do a little more research here and perhaps come back and tell a few more stories from this place. But you can definitely tell this is an older section, and all you've got to do is look at the style of the monuments. They just don't make them like this anymore. I'm going to take you on and show you all while we're here. There's a huge cross monument that's just right up the way, and I've been here before, and I had heard the story. I think I mentioned this in the video that I was here before, but you know, since we took a closer in-depth look there at Osa Wilson's grave, I know it's just right over here, but I don't even remember who is buried here. But the thing I do remember is that I believe somebody was killed just in the placing of this massive cross. So when they come to set this thing, there was some sort of an accident, and the person who helped put it up was killed. I want to show you all this. I'm going to have to stand back kind of far just to get all this in the screen, but is that not a massive cross right there? William Means is the name on it. But I say it all the time. You never know what you're going to find in the cemetery, and there's places that I've been where I've learned stuff even after I've been there that I didn't even know about, people telling me, and through research and such. So I'm just glad to be able to be out and about today, taking a look at the graves, the monuments, and the stories that you'll find here today in Woodland Cemetery in Ironton, Ohio. All right, so I'm on my way back to the car, and thank you all for joining me on this trip to, I've been here before, I know, but I wanted to take, like I said, a more in-depth look at Osa Wilson's story, grave, and I wanted to show you all some footage up close of her monument. So I'm going to, on my Whit Docs Thought section on whitdocs.com, more coverage will be there. I will tell you a little bit more about this trip, what it was like, some behind the scenes, things like that. If you haven't subscribed, please click subscribe. Join me. All of my videos are 100% cemetery related. I'll either be in a cemetery, telling about a cemetery, visiting the famous or the non-famous. So thank you all for joining me. I will see you again soon.